Jamie McLennan, Noodles from TSN, who all we get to see on TV these days is promos for your damn show. Like, we're trying to watch football, and we're going to show you more about Overdrive.
Did you have more travel issues, or were you safe?
No, I was good. I was on the panel last night. I've been at home. I'm home all week until I'm in Pittsburgh Sunday, Monday, Raleigh on Tuesday, and then into San Francisco on Wednesday. So busy. We got to set up how I'm going to be on the show next week, because I've got all hell's breaking loose. But I have to say something.
Fire.
I know somebody who's 50 years old.
Oh my God. We had some fun with the Retster yesterday. It was tough to find. We made a montage. It was really hard to find of him just exploding and having inflammatory comments. For some reason, it took like 15 minutes of the show.
Wow. I've got some pictures that
send them to Jack. That's great.
I can. These are things that you can't. Yeah, these are vaulted things.
And what's funny is that those pictures were developed.
Right. Someone's got the film.
Yeah,
somebody filmed it, and then they developed them, and then they put them on back onto digital print. Although I have some videos of Josh Green dressed as the Incredible Hulk attacking the AW Bear. And that one is a video from multiple angles too. So
that's an all-timer. We've heard that one a few times. Unreal.
My buddy Mace, who passed, and my buddy Joey from LA, they're leg wrestling at Joey's in Edmonton. Outside. They're doing that leg wrestle. You lock legs.
Yeah.
That one I've got a few. I've got me playing a guitar. I'm dressed as Dr. Spock, and I'm playing Brown Eyed Girl, and everybody around me singing, and we're all dressed as superheroes. That's a pretty good one. So,
you could bring that back, Noodles. You could bring that one back.
So we were in Nashville for Halloween. We got to get dressed up. We had someone pull off one of the greatest Mike Commodore impressions we've ever seen. It was great. You were in Nashville last week, and we were kind of giving you the gears that you didn't go up. But you said, no. Tonight's the night I'm going out in Nashville. So we need the update. How was Nashville last Wednesday?
Terrible, because I didn't really go out.
Oh, Noodles.
It's very sad. So
are we old? We're not.
It is being old. It's old man. And I wanted to go sit at Legends and have a beer. We got out. I don't know if you know, like, what happened that night. Like, Ottawa's up 3-0. They lose 5-3. It was just a devastating. We had to do Sports Center hits after. We had all these things going on, and I'm like,
cooked.
Dragging my backpack back to hotel. There's that storm that's coming, so everybody's like cleared out. It just was like unfortunately, the perfect storm of awful, not the perfect storm of perfect. So I wanted to go listen to music. I went, was window shopping, kind of like, hey, I'll pop in. All the bars were pretty, like, kind of quiet. It was sad. It was a sad. I grabbed some food, listened to a little bit of music, and I went back. Like, there was nothing of substance. Like, I wanted to tell you this story. It was like Tootsie's. I was out back on the second floor smoking.
Darts,
There was nothing like that. Like, the sadness that I have to report, and it's not because I'm 54 years old and I'm an old curmudgeon. I just didn't have. There was nothing going on that night, and it was weird. There was a weird sense of, like, that game went on, and then everybody was like, oh, is the next game going to be canceled because the storm was coming? Are we going to get out? Like, there was all hell was breaking loose. Our pets' heads were falling off.
Yeah, fair. Okay. We had a fake business meeting set up Monday at 1 at Tin Palace, and Rhett was really dragging his feet and really wanted to no-show this meeting, which is very out of character. He's usually so well organized and, just a man with his organizer, never late, always on time.
Yeah.
He begrudgingly showed up, and it was 15 of his Lugan buddies that waiting with pitchers of beer. It was a beautiful thing. 50 yesterday. He no-showed the Flames poker tournament. I feel like birthdays can be fun. We know your rules about gifts and stuff, but 50 probably hits a little different. Boom said 50 is not a fun
50 sucks.
Well, it just, you know what it is? It's a strong number.
It's a big number.
You're a kid. Like, when you're a kid, you're like, somebody who's 50 is like old.
A fossil.
Like, and you're like, that guy's 50. and then when you hit 50, you're like, I'm 54, coming 55 in June. My daughter said to me the other day, she's like, The minute you hit 55, you're closer to 60, right? Like, you're like,
that's me.
I'm like, man, oh man. Like, so it is a big number. I felt like in my 30s, and when we had so much fun, when we had my 40th birthday, there was 12 of us that flew to New York City for it. And it was great. And we had, boys weekend, all hell broke loose. And then my 50th, it's like, man, oh man, like, you're like, we'll have a party. We did have a party and it was fun. But like, that's a big number. Like 50 is a big number. And
50 is sit back and contemplate what the F you're up to.
Well, and do you have your affairs in order?
Yeah. Like, okay. Yeah. I got to go down to McLeod Law, make sure the will and all legal affairs are kind of tightened up here.
It's a big number, but I do say this, and I say this wholeheartedly. With technology, with the way people live their lives now, 50 is the new 40. It is like that type of thing. Like, we're all like, look at you. You're in good shape. You're in better shape than you were at 50 than you were at 40, I think.
Oh, 100%. The Boomer did that clips yesterday. They did the montage, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But even looking back to the 2 years I was in Buffalo, I'm like, you fat.
Yeah. I was talking to our buddy Dion Phaneuf this morning. We were talking about, staying in shape and, not letting it go when we retire. And it's easy to like, I didn't want to make it to the gym today or whatever, but I'm a pretty regimented person. I have to be, or else I feel like garbage.
Yeah. Well, the older you get, the more regimented, I think.
You have to. Yeah. I lock it in. Even if I'm traveling, I get to the hotel gym. I got to get a sweat on just so that I feel normal.
You know what? We got to have Newfound for a summer show.
We do. We have not had Neon Dion on, which would be great because he's not a guy that's done a ton of media stuff since he exited, but God, he was a big personality when he was at his heyday.
Like, it's interesting. I joke about my friends, Chad from Nickelback and Dion. They're polarizing people, right? Yeah. But like, once like, the public perception and private perception sometimes match perfectly. Jerome McGinley, case in point.
Sure.
Jerome is, beloved, all of that, great person. When you have certain people that are polarizing, you have differing opinions. Like, I played with Dion. We've been good friends. There's differing opinions. Obviously, he was a captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, polarizing out here because the team wasn't very successful. But when you look like behind the scenes, he's a great guy. He's very funny, very quick-witted. He's extremely generous. And he was, by the end of his career, a great leader. And like, you talk to all of his teammates, they were like, love the guy. So it's just interesting. It's the public perception, private perception sometimes doesn't match.
Right.
But Dion is he's still connected to the game, lives in LA and
working with the Kings.
Yep, working with what is it, AEG, the Ancient Group or whatever it's called.
And he's big up on the sales and business side, isn't he?
Yeah, I think it's business development. I don't know the title. It's like people always ask me, what does that person do? I have no idea what people do.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He had a group curling out here a couple of years ago, and I got to catch up with him, and I hadn't seen him for eons, like since we were at the
I'm going to segue with that comment. Yeah. So, like, what do people do? What the F does Craig Berube do with these donkeys out there?
First of all, I can't look at him.
Get the man out.
Oh, I know.
It is jarring to see that. Like, my son, who is 8, loves the movie Home Alone, and he goes, "Daddy, he looks like Harry."
He's a wet bandit.
Iron across his face, and I was like, "Oh my God!" So we pulled up a picture of Harry, and we were laughing about it. She looks like I can't even explain it. There's a
that's not far off. Yeah, a little higher, and sure,
but it's like it's so jarring to. Can you imagine, Chief, the way he played?
Yeah,
like tough as nails. And you're putting in a half-ass effort, and you've got to skate back to the bench and look at that. And he's got like an axe wound right across the head. It looks like an axe wound. We all, it's a gym wound. I've heard the story. It's awful. Like, normal humans should be not living, or way more damage than what Chief did. But like, he's back there. And I think now you're in a situation where they're 8 points back, 29 games left, got a bunch of teams to jump, and you just had a lifeless 0-4-1 5-game homestand.
With the Marner salt in the wound and
against big teams that you should get up for.
Yeah, and now you got a star player flipping the bird at a camera. Like I can't imagine how your head throbbing would feel with like 80 stitches or whatever the hell it is. And then you got to coach that team in that market in this season during this skid. Like
it's concerning on a lot of different levels, because my question is, how do they get out of it?
Yeah.
Get out of it. Okay, like Austin Matthews scores goals. He's scoring goals.
He is now, yeah.
They're scoring goals. This guy's got 25 goals. Like it's Matthews gets a goal and assist yesterday. They can't keep the puck out of their net. Their D aren't good enough. Their goaltending has been, suspect recently. And that team, the one formula, and I don't know, you guys probably haven't watched them close enough. The one formula they struggle with is speed. Buffalo, I talked to a coach the other day that said Buffalo is one of the fastest teams in the league. Like, could Kevin Adams get up for GM of the year?
That's what somebody was saying.
I'm telling you, that Doan deal looks unbelievable. And JJ Peterka is probably a great player, but like 1-for-1 again, those two, pick one, it's probably close. Doan's
and you throw
really ascending, and then Kesselring's in there, and it's like that's a good D man that helps your top four.
But there's been moves along the way. Peterka. Dylan Cousins, who's a 24-year-old 6'4" centerman.
Yeah.
Scored. Has had a good year for Ottawa. But you look at it like Dahlin's he's a player, man. He's a player.
Hat-trick last night, I think.
What's that?
Hat-trick last night.
Got the hat-trick, got 5 points, but it just like he's a clear-cut number one defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a goal, they've got goaltending there. So they've got UPL, who left the game, got hurt. They've got this kid, Colton Ellis, who's young, but he's up and coming. They got Levi. I don't know what he's going to be yet. They've got Alex Lyon. Like,
he's playing unreal.
Adams is put together some depth there.
Yeah.
Where it's Yarmo comes in and goes, yeah. The first thing Yarmo said at his press conference was like, I think this team's a playoff team.
Yeah.
They're 19-2-1. In their last 22, something insane like that. Now, I didn't think they were this good, so they're somewhere in the middle, but they're still a very good team that I think people have been waiting for that team and that organization to put it together.
Yep.
They have, and they like that. Thompson's a player.
How do you associate firing Adams, who put it together? And I was critical of it, and it did not look good. Like when they came through here early December, they were 3 or 4 games under 500. And it was whoof. I was on the broadcast with Razor and the boys, and I was like,
have hope.
It's coming. It's going to turn eventually. I did not think it was turning the next game.
You kind of believed it. Like it,
right? Like,
and selling, like,
and
maybe.
They've been at it for 14 freaking years. It should look good, or there should be pieces there. It just didn't feel like it was ever. And I don't know how you can fire a GM that has that much impact. And maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was coming anyway, and he got shit canned, and it was circumstantial. But it sure feels like the firing of a GM and everyone.
Yeah, like this wasn't a firing because he was Urban Meyering it at the bar, like it wasn't a firing because of anything. Like I remember at the start of this year going, when they were struggling, I'm like, is Lindy Ruff the right coach for that young group? Is Kevin Adams, what has he done? But now looking back, and again, not trying to be overly critical, but like Pagula's press conference when the Bills went out was not very good.
Very weird. And then the guy they hired is also weird. It's like, we got to turn the page, but we're going to stick with the guy.
The guy who's bringing the band back.
Turning the page, but bringing the offensive coordinator.
You already had that guy. Why didn't you?
So what I'm saying, I guess, and I couldn't speak to this. Razor probably could. And I heard, I'm before the chaos with Razor, when you guys had him on the pod, I think he was quite complimentary of Pagula and how much he's done for the city. Yep. And I do respect that. That's lost in all of this. A guy can have a bad press conference. I think Terry Pagula cares. I think he's done a lot for the city of Buffalo. I think he's pumped a lot of money into those organizations. So good on him. Guy's a billionaire. Do whatever you want. It wasn't a great look, but that's where I keep coming back to. Sorry, I should have put it on mute. I keep coming back to is what, is it Pagula that's just shooting from the hip when it comes to Kevin Adams? Was this long time coming when he hired Kekalainen? Was that just the beginning of the end? Somewhere along the line, he made the decisions like the manager's got to go, or Yarmo was like, I'm ready to take over now that I know the team.
I don't know Yarmo, but I know Berge, and you know Berge.
Yes.
There's a guy like Berge. I don't know him as a GM. I know him as a player and how much fun. And I'm talking Mark Bergevin, who's now with the Sabres.
Yeah.
He's got personality. He makes the game fun. I actually am wondering if that's what's having an impact. I don't know how much interaction he's having on a day-to-day basis, but it feels like the kind of guy, just knowing his personality, and maybe it's different because he's in the GMing role, but that's a guy that can go into a dressing room and make people laugh and enjoy coming to the rink.
Yeah, the team looked like they didn't want to be at the rink the last 10 years. Now it's like these guys love going to the rink.
But they love it. It's funny because, I have a friend of a friend who's on the team, and he said last year, you're right, type of thing. It's like, we know we're a good team, but we can't, we're not there yet. Like you're trying. You look at them, they look confident. They look like they're having fun. And they look like whether there's been a culture shift or a weight that's lifted off their back, they look like they know that they can be in every game. That's the thing. Watching them, like they got down yesterday's game, come right back and score. Like they just, and I think it's their leaders are like, okay, we can play. Like Thompson's a player.
Yes.
Aline's a player. Like they're top tier players. And for some reason, Brett, how many times have I said this to you? That's a really good team on paper, which was weird. They just never were a good team on the ice. But on paper, I was like, that team should be better than they are. And this year, go ahead.
Sorry. Finish your thought on Buffalo.
No, I'm just saying, and something has clicked. It might have been a culture shift. It might have just been like Lindy said, go play. I need you to work hard, but I need you to, go play. Relax and go play. Yeah. Bergie, they brought in, I believe, Stacey Roost from Tampa. Rooster and I go back to Minnesota, like some smart hockey guys. Yeah. And I think you build the organization out. Buffalo's got something good there, I'm telling you, and I'm happy for them.
You want to go to a fun playoff game? Be in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Or
if Detroit gets in.
14 years. So I'm excited.
It will be.
That would be great.
Yes, it will be that's must-watch TV.
Yeah.
Or if you can be there, even better.
Yeah, we're joking. Like that's the trip to make if we're doing a sports trip. Go watch the Sabres in the playoffs on home ice. Like in the what? We didn't think that was
guys there.
We'll watch them. Go catch a Jays game. Stop in at Noodles. Have a dip in the pool. Yeah. Perfect. But you didn't answer us about the Leafs.
Yeah. So but just to get there, here's the Atlantic or the East. We've got the standings. I cropped out the Devils and Caps who are at the bottom, but I mean the bottom's not far. There's a lot of muck just hanging around the wild card and out. The Metro looks soft. And the Atlantic, we've seen this massive turnover. Like there's Detroit in home ice spot. There's Buffalo right behind them with 2 games in hand. We've seen those teams massively improve. Montreal is a much better team than they were. Boston's remained relevant. We see Barkov skating with Florida with some of the injured guys. Looks like he's closer not to coming back than we would have thought at this point of the season. Right. And there at the very bottom are the Leafs and the Sens, 2 teams that met in the first round last year. And for the Leafs, it looks like they got old and slow quick. And for the Sens, they can't stop a puck, but like a lot of buzz on the Leafs. They're above the Senators here, Noodles.
Well, the thing is, when you ask me, with Ottawa, I can circle one thing and go, if you take care of this will happen. Because analytically, Pinder, this, like whatever site you go to, whether it's Money Puck or Logic, whatever, like Ottawa's expected goals for and expected goals against, like they're near the top of the league. Yeah. Like they are analytically a top tier team. They just can't get a save consistently at the right time. Unfortunately, with the Leafs, the fix isn't one particular compartment where you go, you fix that and we're on to something. What's happened is they've had 9 years of stress-free regular seasons.
100+ points every year. Yeah.
100-point team, playoff team. That, this fan base is like, wake me up in April to see if they can do something. And, they've won 2 playoff rounds in 10 years or in 17 years, whatever it is. But I'm talking the 10 years of Matthews and all of that. And now the fan base, this is uncharted territory for them, or it's muscle memory going back to the Phil and Dion days, or even before that to when it was scorched earth. And I think what's happened is the fan base, they're not used to that. You're going, this team, whether you believe it or not, was going to be in that battle. I think they're going to fight for a playoff spot all season long. Whether they get it or not doesn't look good right now. Mm-hmm. But this is uncharted territory for that group in the dressing room as well. Because for 2 weeks out of the year, and it happens to be unfortunately the same 2 weeks in April, they've had to deal with craziness. Mm-hmm. Now it's every day, because in the regular season, the Leafs, and there's other teams in the league, we could call them regular season heroes. It's, hey, Matthews chasing 70. It's Willie's having Mitch Marner chasing 100 points. It's this goalie's playing well, all-star game for that. And it's just been very easy. Nothing's been easy for them this year. And you see right now, the 0-4-1 in this last 5 games in the homestand. And they were coming off an 8-0-2 stretch where they put themselves back into the mix.
Yeah, just to give it right back.
Just to give themselves an opportunity. And now Buffalo in regulation goes into their building and kicks their ass.
After a big meeting.
After they have a meeting with the coach. They've had a player that's handing the finger out. They've got it's just storyline. I think my host, Brian Hayes, said it. He said it well. He goes, it's not one thing, but it's death by 1,000 cuts right now. Everywhere you turn, there's just a little slice of this guy and that guy, and it's really frustrating.
Well, they're not good in net, they've got subpar goaltending. So
yes, I think those goalies are good, but they're not playing well enough.
Yeah, so that's not working. Their defense is
that's their Achilles heel. Yeah, Troy Stetcher off of waivers. I mean.
Everybody loves Troy Stetcher.
We love him, but eventually you wake up and you go, that's Troy Stetcher. The 6-7.
Big minutes.
And he should be at the 8-12, 8-10. And they're having to play him higher in the lineup because you got an injury to Tanev, and you've got, everyone else not playing well. Is
this a take pause moment for Tree? Or is this I've seen enough? I don't like the makeup. I need to make.
I don't know. The only problem, Rhett, is what's the currency you have?
I think they're post-Apex, this team, if that's a weird thing to say. I really do. When you look at their lineup and how it's constructed and where they've faltered and where they've failed and how much they need to get elite again. I don't look at that team and go, that's elite. I think there's some elite players, but it's like you're saying, Hazy makes – the fact that Nylander's giving the camera the finger is not a big deal in my life, other than you're a childish idiot and I can't you're what kind of fucking moron are you? What are you doing?
I know.
I got some numbers, Noodles, that'll back this up, because you guys are right. There's holes everywhere, but the one place it's
and you've called yourself Willie on your post or whatever. You sound like fucking 2-year-old. Grow up.
Jeez.
Willie.
Not again. Clip that, Jack.
Instagram. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Oh, you love Willie.
It's just a weird.
We've got some defensive stats from them. Okay, I want you to look at this. So this is Mike Kelly from the NHL who does some advanced stuff. This is their defending. This is not their offense. This is their defense. Ooh. They are last in shots against. They are last in slot shots allowed. They are last in rush chances allowed. They are second last in chances off the cycle. They are fourth from the bottom, in expected goals against, which means the environment's a nightmare for a goalie. You're getting way too many high caliber chances as all the stats above that. And then actual goals allowed, they're third from the bottom. Whatever their holes are in the forward group, the D group, or the goalies not being as good as they could be, it's all showing up in these defensive metrics. They are a shitty defensive team.
Yes. And if you watched, you pick a team, but pick a night. I'll pick last night. Buffalo's speed they couldn't handle. There was the forecheck. They would turn it over. Buffalo scored 4 goals in the first period. One was called back on an offside that was a minute later. Don't get me started on offside and then 2 minutes in the zone and then they score and they gotta reset the clock. But that's what happened.
Yeah.
Not any team that forechecks fast and hard, they have trouble with because their D are slow. They don't have guys. Now Stetchers can skate. They've got guys who can skate and move the puck, but they don't have today's game. You need to be able to get out of your zone and you need puck movers. Mm-hmm. You need somebody that doesn't panic under pressure, makes a play. Their best defenseman that I'm describing out of all that is Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's 35 years old, 34, and a Warrior. Played every game this year, even though he's left a few games with injury. He just seems to show up the next game. But he was a 5-6 on a cup winner. They're asking him to be a 4, maybe higher in the lineup. And it's
not constructed right, whether it's due to injuries or not. It feels like a team that had some very high-end elite talent, and they tried to fill the holes with the gum, you know what I mean? The leaks, and they tried to spot Tanev in there. And we all love Tanev, but this is exactly what everyone expected to happen to Tanev in a bad way.
Yeah.
Where I feel terrible for it because, like I said, everyone loves Tanev.
Everybody loves
this is what you were kind of expecting. At the end of the day, Tanev's going to get hurt. Mm-hmm. You can't really rely on it. I think I just don't know how they're constructing. I don't know what kind of capital they have. And what, you look at that Sport Logic thing, and you're like 4.5%.
Yeah. Chances of playoffs, that's real low.
Well, to me, there's just so much, like you say, there's not like, there are 2 points ahead of Ottawa. Ottawa's got a game in hand, but Ottawa's playing Colorado tonight. But my point being,
and they're both out of the playoffs.
They're both out of the playoffs. Ottawa by 10 points, the Leafs by 8. Ottawa, I can look at that roster and go, give me one thing. And that might change the trickle down. Is there one player, if I walked into the Leafs dress, is there one player that would go, oh, that's just going to change everything? I think it's weird for me to say. Rasmus Andersson would have been a guy that I think could have helped the balance of power back there. Because he can advance the puck, he can quarterback the power play. He's got some bite to his game, some attitude to his game. All of a sudden, he can play with Morgan Riley or Jake McCabe, and now all of a sudden you don't have Brandon Carlo there, who doesn't make a real clean first pass. Rasmus does. So again, maybe one player like that could help the balance of power where Troy Stetcher doesn't have to be that guy. He can play as a 5-6. That's I look at it again. I know you guys hate talking about Edmonton, but Edmonton made one trade a couple years ago that helped the balance of power of their D, and it was Ekholm.
Yeah,
best deal Kenny made. Yeah,
right, because it took Nurse out of that, and it goes. We're going to put Ekholm here. We're going to slot Nurse down. We're going to have somebody to play with Bouchard to settle him down. Like there was a ripple effect throughout that organization with one move that was slotted properly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where, if you're asking me, like these organizations, I don't think there's a quick fix. But if there might be a play. Now, again, you don't have the currency to get Rasmus.
That's just it. That's what I was just going to say. It was like, even if you were able to get Rasmus Andersson, and even if Rasmus came in and did that, I don't know that it takes you from where you are to the top of the food chain. No, I think it helps you get to the playoffs.
What it does is maybe like, right now, I call the Leafs, and just like Calgary was in the last couple of years in that muddy middle.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to be in the muddy middle, or do you take a look right here? The narrative right here in Toronto is the template could be the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Last year,
reset.
They had a goalie that showed up late for camp on a contract squabble, never really got going. Hampus Lindholm, in the top pairing defenseman, hurt right from the get-go, shut down. Charlie McAvoy gets hurt, shut him down. They realized, I remember being in Boston. It was about this time last year. and Cam Neely was doing a presser, and we were there, media scrubs hanging around. And Neely said, the next week of our season, we're going to decide whether we are buyers or sellers at the deadline. He said, our next 3 to 4 games are going to dictate. It dictated, and they sold. They shut everybody down. Lindholm didn't, fit in early on. It took him a bit to settle in. Now he looks comfortable, right? But they had so many things that didn't go right. So they made that decision. This year's not our year. We're going to reset and we're going to sell off some assets.
Yep.
And we're going to retool and go right back at it. And they were able to, with what they have, to go right back at it again this year. Toronto might have to do that.
Yeah, and so I think we all agree they don't have the capital to make a splash, to make one move that you're like,
and one move I don't think fixes
it. And so we're taking that off the board, and this is where things get really interesting for a team that's got a hollowed out system that does not hold their own first rounder.
Right.
It's also like you can't really tank and go get a stud here. It's top 5 protected, but they moved their first to Boston in the deal for Carlo, which is looking like a very, very steep price to pay for a guy who's probably a 5'6" if he's slotted best. And so now what do? Getting into that bottom 5 is not that simple. You got some teams that are bad and that have already started selling. Your Vancouvers, Calgary's, St. Louis is going to be there if they're not. The Rangers have sent out a press release. Like, this is a really, like, are they cooked, or is there a way that you could even look a year or two out and say they're back? Like, I just see old, hard to move contracts and no capital to get young players in.
It's weird to say because it is a couple years out, but you almost have to be like Vancouver and go to your top player, because Matthews is a couple years away from a contract, and go, what's your intention? What do you want here?
Yes.
You want to be a lifer? Or, again, I don't want to be radioed. I joke because I don't want a headline say McLennan says this or whatever, but it might have to be a realistic conversation as to what is the plan moving forward. John Tavares has 3 more years on his deal. He's not going anywhere. He's 35 years old, 36. Like, maybe you look at Morgan Riley and you go, whether you like it or not, we're going to, try and move away from you. He makes 8, I think 7 something. Still a good player, but it's.
He'd be a great asset if you're willing to move him to a team. There's a lot of teams that would love to have him.
They've got 2 decisions on UFAs. Scott Lawton, who they gave a first rounder for.
Another first.
And then the Bobby McMahon, who is
a nice Alberta guy.
Nice Alberta minister guy who they found. And he's come, but they found him and he's on a cheap deal. His next deal, he's a 20-plus goal scorer. His next deal might start with a 5. Do you want to commit to, that? Or are you going to move him at this deadline and start trying to recoup some of the stuff that's gone out the door? These are decisions that have to be made. Here's the other thing I'll throw on the table. Keith Pelly took over this organization. It was Brendan Shanahan. Now they've got a president of MLSE. They don't have a president of, the Leafs. So it's Pelly. Is Pelly saying to Brad Treliving, you have the keys to the castle? Or are you saying we're going to reevaluate everything at the end of this season? And if that's the case, are you allowing the people in place right now to make the organization future decisions? So that's the other. If Tree's your guy, which is, we all love Tree. I know Tree very well. He's a good friend of mine. If Keith Pelly has a vote of confidence, then you go to Tree and say, execute a plan moving forward. You got to figure out Matthews' intentions. What are you going to do with William Nylander, who's got 8 years or 7 years left? And, these are good players. But at the end of the day, if you're having a retool, do they have the stomach for it? Are you the guy that's going to do it? Like, there's lots of questions to be answered before we even have these conversations.
Yeah, must-win games in January, regular seasons that have been stress-free, and now all of a sudden a new president whose bottom line was very clear at his opening press conference. It's about banners. Yeah. They haven't been further from a banner in the last decade than they are right now.
Yes, that's a fair point, because I can't remember, like, this team, and I'm probably going to post that out on my show today. How many days has this team been in the playoffs, like just on paper, as opposed to out of the playoffs this year? I guarantee you it's a lot more out of the playoffs than in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is uncharted territory for this whole group.
It's an interesting thing because Winnipeg's at the bottom of the league right now too.
I think
and you could circle it. Hey,
I think they're going to make the playoffs.
I do too.
Oh, really?
I think they're going to get rolling.
I just wondered if that was another situation where sometimes, if you can push pause and go, okay, well, this isn't our year. Things haven't gone well. Let's get a top 5 pick like that.
That's fair, but here's
they have assets that you want to build off. I don't see them in the same as Toronto.
But I look at Winnipeg, and I could say if you could find me a second line centerman, I think the balance of power would look because they
can't wait.
No. What I'm saying, like I had this question posed to me yesterday on SportsCenter. Leafs are 6 points out. Winnipeg was 8. Now it's actually swapped. Winnipeg is now 6, and the Leafs are up. Which team could make the playoffs? I said Winnipeg, and I said it's on 2 different things. Their top players are having good seasons. If you look at it, you look at Scheifele, you look at, Velarde scored 20. Yeah, like all of those guys are playing well, okay? The teams above Winnipeg are teams that are I believe, have to make decisions with their future. So, LA, Seattle, they're like
Utah.
The teams above Winnipeg, I think Calgary at that point was above them. Are they?
Yeah, they have been.
So the teams are like easier to catch. If you're the Leafs, you're looking at, and your Florida's getting healthy. You're chasing. Now, I didn't see Pittsburgh as a playoff team. All of a sudden, Pittsburgh looks like they're going to be chasing the spot. So climbing the teams for the Leafs were going to be harder, in my opinion, than climbing for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, I'd agree. We've kept you too long, but it's fascinating times in Toronto for sure. And man, like that market's hot when there isn't really that much to talk about. These are wild times. Must-win games in January. I'm sure you guys have no shortage of topics on your show out there.
I don't even know how our show's going to start. I don't even know. Because I said I was working with O-Dog last night on the panel, and I just said, we might have to just turn our mics on and let Hayes go for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He used to do a 4-hour show by himself. I might want to just give him the run.
How about it?
Yeah, good with it.
Hayes has the best pulse of Leafs Nation. Like he grew up there. He's Leafs fan. Like he has the best pulse of like the fan base.
Sure.
So I'm going to go, you speak for the fan base. I can't.
Yeah.
But, so we'll see how it goes.
Thanks as always. Old guys not even going out in Nashville. This guy's
I'm heartbroken that I did that to you guys, but I will rebound. You will hear a story about me eventually at some point.
Say something nice about Sean Kelso. He just won the poker tournament last night.
What?
Scam.
Really?
He had a massive stack of chips and he knew exactly how to use them. He was great.
I'm going to send him a text, but yes.
Do that.
Who doesn't love Kels? We all love Kels. I love Kels. So I was going to say something derogatory, but I'm not going to. So
all of a sudden you're trying to get on his private jet to Cabo or something. All right. Yeah.
I love Kels, though. Kels has always been good to me. He's a dear friend.
We love you, Noodles. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, buddies. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Also, if you could throw in a like and subscribe, it does help us out with what it is we are doing. And check out more at flamesnation.ca.